Let's break some circuits.
All right, Max, we've had about a day to play with Wattson. I'm not going to lie, I don't think either of us are completely sold on this character yet in Apex Legends Season 2, but, you know, we usually do these guides where we break down all of their abilities. I think what we're going to start this guide off with is what's more interesting about Wattson, which is what she can do with her tactical to perimeter security. These are the fence poles that she can connect, up to about 12 of them in a match. We've had sort of mixed results with these, but you've discovered some really interesting things with these. So let's break down the poles and the basics of how they work.
Yeah, so the poles, you can put out 12 of them total, 4 immediately, and they have a recharge cooldown. You can pair them with enemy fences. They can destroy doors. They do 10 damage per tick. They stun. They also ping enemies to your whole team.
Ring aim far. A fence circuit's broken out there.
Uh-oh.
They have a couple of uses as well, besides just being a fence.
Yeah, they were pretty interesting. They set off caustic traps. I've also seen what looked like Mirage's hologram setting them off, so he can set up kind of a trick play.
And the fences do have a certain amount of HP. It seems like 75. They don't have any hit marker numbers per se on how much HP they have, but the fences do have a pretty small amount of HP and can be shot and destroyed by enemies.
Yeah, I think that was a big question we had going into Season 2 was, can you destroy the fences? And the answer is, yeah, pretty easily. So when you're placing these fences, it's important to get them behind cover or around rocks, things like that.
Right. The game actually does have a AoE range that it'll tell you, like an edge of a circle, how far you can link that fence. So it kind of gives you like a gauge on how far that reaches.
I'll make sure they don't sneak up on us.
These fences, what they do is they buy you space and time. And what you do with that space and time kind of determines whether you win or lose.
Yep.
So we've had some good examples where, like, I was able to hold a room for quite a long time in a 1v3 situation and revive my teammate. Now, we eventually succumbed just because they had more resources outside of the room than we did inside of the room.
They have to go through it or they have to shoot it, one or the other. So it's going to either hear gunshots or you're going to either be known when they walk through it. So it's definitely just something just like similar to gas traps. It's area denial.
So let's talk about characters that counter her sort of pole strategies. What characters get around it?
So Wraith, Octane, Pathfinder, to name a few. Obviously Void, the grapple can go over it. Octane's ult, you could just jump right over it. I mean, that may put you in a bad situation because you're in enemy lines. But, you know, that is a way to get into the enemy's face if they are hiding behind the fences, you know, to heal up or to revive a teammate. So there is ways to bypass it, but also you can also just walk through the fence. It doesn't do that much damage.
Well, yeah, we did some tests. I think it only took off about a half of a shield bar.
So it does 10 damage per tick, and the tick is fairly quick, but by the time you go through the fence, it maybe does like 20 or 30 damage. More than anything, in the middle of a firefight, that's bad. But just on its own, if you just need to get somewhere and the fence is in the way, you can just walk through it and just shield cell it off. It's not a huge deal.
Her passive is the Spark of Genius, which allows her to get an interception pylon out of each ultimate accelerant, which is very useful. She can hoard ultimate accelerants and then use them all at once if she wants.
Her playstyle is definitely not a fragging playstyle. It's definitely more defensive. And that really ties in well when you have her ultimate, which is Interception Pylon, which zaps throwables out of the sky, grenades, Banglar's ultimate, Gibraltar's ultimate, and also recharges your fence tactical. So most of the time when you're just walking around, you can only have 4 fences at a time. When you have the ultimate up, you could just chill by your ultimate and just have a bunch of fences immediately. It charges very quickly with fences, so you can just set up a base basically. So I've had a pretty good success rate having just like one area is like a defended. I just have a pylon in the middle and I just set up a whole bunch of fences and they just came in towards me because we were in the middle of the circle. So that's when she kind of shines, is her defensive tacticals. But offensively, the only way I use her fence offensively is to fence a downed enemy in so they can't really move.
We've tried.
Yeah, it's sort of worked. Sometimes it downs them, sometimes it just at least fences them off, so it's harder to get enemies to revive them. So it's just more pressure on the enemy, which is great. But
it's like the old sniper tactic of setting somebody up as bait.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. It's more of just a bait situation.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, we've had about a day with Wattson, and we are really curious what you guys think of her so far. She's really good situationally. Seems like a lot more to discover in the way that her abilities pair up with other characters, such as Caustic. But if you guys have found out anything really cool that we haven't covered already, let us know in the comments below. And stay tuned to GameSpot so that we can talk more about Apex Legends.